Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we have shocking news that has sent waves across the region and grabbed the world's attention. Reports are coming in that Russia's strategic corridor in Crimea has been destroyed in a massive attack, marking a significant turning point in the ongoing conflict. This event has raised serious questions about military planning, security, and the broader geopolitical implications. The Crimea corridor has long been considered a vital lifeline for Russian forces, both in terms of logistics and strategic positioning. For years, it has allowed the movement of troops, military equipment, and supplies between the Russian mainland and the Crimean peninsula. Destroying it is no small feat, and the fact that it happened indicates a level of planning and precision that is deeply concerning for Russian military authorities. Initial reports suggest that the attack involved a combination of precision strikes and sabotage tactics. While details are still emerging, it appears that critical infrastructure, including bridges, highways, and supply depots along the corridor, have been heavily damaged. The immediate consequence is a significant disruption in the movement of troops and materials, leaving Russian forces in Crimea facing logistical challenges that could last for weeks or even months. The timing of this attack is particularly interesting. Analysts have noted that Russia had been consolidating its forces in Crimea for a possible push into neighboring regions, and the corridor was essential for supporting any sustained military operations. By hitting this lifeline, the attackers have not only delayed Russian plans, but have also demonstrated a capability to strike deep into well-defended territory, something that carries both military and symbolic weight. Beyond the immediate military impact, the destruction of the Crimea corridor has enormous psychological consequences. For Russian troops and citizens, it undermines the perception of security and control over the peninsula. For the opposing forces, it serves as a morale boost, showing that even heavily fortified positions are vulnerable. Such an event has the potential to shift momentum in ongoing engagements and could force Russia to rethink its strategy entirely. One of the most striking elements of this attack is the level of precision reportedly achieved. Modern warfare relies heavily on intelligence, reconnaissance, and technology, and it seems the attackers had detailed knowledge of critical points along the corridor. The ability to target and destroy specific infrastructure while avoiding broader collateral damage suggests careful planning and possibly inside information. This raises questions about the effectiveness of Russian counterintelligence and their ability to protect high-value assets. The reaction from international observers has been swift. Experts from around the world are analyzing satellite imagery and intelligence reports to understand the full scope of the damage. Many have pointed out that this could alter the balance of power in the region, at least temporarily. With the corridor out of action, the logistics chains that support the Russian military in Crimea are severely strained, which could limit their operational capabilities and reduce their ability to respond to further attacks. In the short term, Russia will likely attempt to repair the damage and establish alternative supply routes. However, building new infrastructure or repairing destroyed roads and bridges under ongoing conflict conditions is a slow and dangerous process. This means that Russian forces may face shortages of critical supplies, including fuel, ammunition, and medical provisions. The longer the disruption continues, the more it could impact operational planning and troop morale. Meanwhile, the attack has sent a strong signal about the vulnerability of key infrastructure in conflict zones. Modern military strategy emphasizes the protection of supply lines, and the Crimea corridor was considered one of the most secure in the region. Its destruction serves as a stark reminder that no target is invulnerable, and it highlights the evolving nature of warfare, where precision strikes can have disproportionate effects on larger strategic objectives. Political reactions have also been intense. In Russia, state media has downplayed the scale of the destruction, but leaks and independent reporting paint a different picture. There are growing concerns among Russian officials about how such vulnerabilities could affect domestic perception and international standing. For the global community, this event underscores the importance of monitoring the conflict closely, as changes on the ground can have far-reaching consequences beyond the immediate theater of war. the human impact cannot be ignored either. While this attack primarily targeted infrastructure, any conflict of this scale inevitably affects civilians in the region. Disrupted supply lines can lead to shortages of essential goods, medical care, and other resources, further complicating life for residents. Even if the direct casualties are limited, the indirect consequences could be severe, adding to the humanitarian challenges in the area. Analysts are also examining the broader military implications. Destroying the Crimea corridor may force Russia to reroute supplies through longer and less secure paths, increasing the risk of additional attacks and ambushes. It could also hinder reinforcement efforts, meaning units already deployed may have to operate with reduced resources. This disruption can create opportunities for opposing forces to exploit weaknesses and gain tactical advantages on the battlefield. Another important aspect to consider is how this event fits into the wider geopolitical narrative. Crimea has been a contentious region since its annexation, and any damage to key infrastructure there carries symbolic significance. It demonstrates that control over the region is not absolute, and that vulnerabilities can be exploited by a determined adversary. This could have implications for negotiations, peace efforts, and the strategies of countries watching the conflict from afar. The technological aspect of the attack is also worth noting. Modern warfare increasingly relies on drones, precision, guided munitions, and electronic intelligence. It seems likely that such tools played a critical role in identifying targets, planning the strike, and ensuring maximum impact. This is indicative of the changing face of conflict, where traditional defensive structures are often inadequate against technologically advanced adversaries. In terms of strategic lessons, this event is a case study in the importance of securing supply lines and infrastructure. Military planners around the world will undoubtedly analyze how a heavily defended corridor was destroyed and what measures could prevent similar incidents. For Russia, it may prompt a re-evaluation of defense priorities, intelligence protocols, and resource allocation to ensure critical routes are better protected in the future. The attack also highlights the role of intelligence and counterintelligence. Knowing where and when to strike requires detailed information about troop movements, infrastructure vulnerabilities, and timing. The effectiveness of the strike suggests either a lapse in Russian counterintelligence or a highly skilled and coordinated effort by the attackers. Either scenario points to the evolving challenges faced by militaries in maintaining secure operations in contested regions. Public reaction has been intense, with social media and news outlets flooded with images, speculation, and commentary. The rapid spread of information has amplified the psychological effect of the attack, making it a topic of global discussion. Even as details continue to emerge, the perception of Russian vulnerability is growing, which could influence both domestic and international responses to the ongoing conflict. Looking ahead, the long-term impact of the corridor's destruction will depend on multiple factors. Russia may prioritize rebuilding and securing alternative routes, but doing so under constant threat of attack is difficult. The opposing forces may continue to exploit these vulnerabilities, applying pressure where it hurts the most. Over time, this could shift operational dynamics, making certain areas harder for Russian forces to control or resupply effectively. This event also raises questions about deterrence and escalation. Striking such a vital piece of infrastructure carries risks of retaliation and further escalation. How Russia responds could determine whether this marks a turning point in the conflict or a temporary setback. The global community will be watching closely, analyzing each move for signals about broader strategic intentions and capabilities. One cannot ignore the strategic ripple effects. Neighboring regions may adjust their defensive postures, while international actors may reassess support strategies for various parties. The attack on the Crimea corridor is not just a localized incident. It has the potential to influence the broader security landscape, shaping policies, military planning, and diplomatic engagement for months or even years. The attack also underscores the importance of adaptability in modern conflict. Military forces must be able to respond to sudden disruptions and unexpected attacks. The destruction of a major corridor tests the resilience, planning, and flexibility of Russian forces, challenging them to find immediate solutions while maintaining operational effectiveness. How quickly and efficiently they respond will reveal much about their current capabilities and preparedness. At the same time, the event demonstrates the power of strategic strikes. Targeting infrastructure rather than just troops can yield disproportionate advantages, slowing down operations, cutting off resources, and creating confusion. It shows that careful planning and precision can achieve significant results without necessarily engaging in large-scale battles, highlighting a shift in how modern military engagements are conducted. From a geopolitical perspective, this incident will likely influence ongoing discussions about conflict resolution and military alliances. Countries observing the situation may adjust their policies or increase support for one side, depending on how they interpret the strategic significance. The attack on the Crimea corridor is a stark reminder that local events can have far-reaching consequences, influencing global security considerations. In conclusion, the destruction of Russia's Crimea corridor represents a major event with immediate and long-term implications. It disrupts supply lines, challenges military strategy, impacts morale, and sends a powerful psychological message. The scale of the attack, its precision, and its timing all indicate careful planning and the evolving nature of modern warfare. The coming weeks will reveal how Russia adapts, how opposing forces capitalize on the disruption, and how the broader international community responds. One thing is certain: this attack will be remembered as a pivotal moment in the ongoing conflict, reshaping military and strategic calculations for all involved.